Hey friends, so in this video what we're going to do is describe the target that Bruner has in his sights, the view of the self that he thinks is wrong. So actually the view of the self that he thinks is wrong is the view that we find in Descartes, where the self is what we might think of as individualistic. What do we mean by this? Well, the boundaries of the self are located entirely internal to us. What does that mean? Well, it could mean that the boundaries of the self are just the boundaries of the brain, right? One way of thinking about this is that the self is located in the brain, it is the brain, however you want to flesh that out. Anything you want to know about the self, you just have to go do some neuroscience. Another possibility is that the boundaries of the self are the soul, right, or the spirit, or consciousness. Now, you can't do a little bit of neuroscience to understand this, but what you can do is a bit of introspection. You think about your own thinking, or you think about your own thoughts, and that's how you learn about the self. Now, on an individualistic view of the self, we do not have to look outside of us to better understand who and what we are. Now, you might remember from the reading that Bruner talks a little bit about the learning theory in psychology. So I just want to briefly talk about why he goes into this. And it's a little bit, actually has to do a bit with philosophy of science. So Bruner is responding to the objection that everything we know about how humans learn, about how they acquire knowledge, about how they even remember, all of psychology shows us that it happens internally. So when we have the rats running through the maze, he mentioned something like a cognitive map at one point. So what that view of the mind, what that view of the self encourages, is a view in which our learning, all of our mental life really, happens inside of us. And so a cognitive map is like a theorized or a theoretical entity to explain how the rats make it through the maze. Now, in this case, a cognitive map is entirely internal to us. So what Bruner is doing here is he's saying, hey, I know there's a lot of data out there suggesting that the boundaries of the self are internal, that we are individualistic. But, he points out, our theories constrain our experiments and our discoveries. So this is a point from the philosophy of science. Whenever we're doing any kind of science, whenever we're engaged in any kind of scientific endeavor, our theories give us a vocabulary, a set of concepts with which to think about what we're doing. And so our theories give us a way of, identifying the thing we're testing for. So to say that these rats are making their way through the maze using cognitive maps, well, that doesn't necessarily prove that there really are these cognitive maps, because the background theory, the background individualistic theory of the self, gives us the language of cognitive maps with which to go test things. So the broader point here for Bruner is that even though psychology has depended on an individualistic view of the self in order to do some studies, in order to do its work, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's right.